Hello everybody and welcome to this instruction video. This video we'll be doing part 4 of the Scheepjes Color Lab cowl designed by Rochelle from Cypress Textiles. In this part we're going to make triangles and then join those triangles to what we've done before. Triangle motif 1, round 1. Slip knots on my hook and we start with a chain 3. And then we close on the first chain to form a ring. Then open up the ring, there's that little hole, and there we start with a beginning treble. That means in that space. First double crochet and then a chain 2 for the double treble, so the beginning double treble. Now we're going to work a repeat. It's a chain 1 and a 2 treble cluster in the ring, and we do this 4 times. So first a chain 1 and then a 2 treble cluster, so that's yarn over, insert, pick up a loop and take off, and we do that again, and take off, 3 loops on your hook, take them off. So that was the repeat once. We're going to do this 4 times. So chain 1, your second treble cluster, chain 1, and a 3rd treble cluster. So this is basically 2 trebles work together, and then again chain 1. I need a bit more yarn, and then this is the last one, and 2, and take them off. Chain 1, and now the last stitch in the ring, a double treble, so yarn over twice, then in the ring 1, 2 and 3. That is a very small little triangle you just worked. Turn your work for row 2. Row 2, I have the wrong side facing, and here we're going to work in the chain spaces between the stitches, and if you pull that open you see exactly where those stitches are. We're going to start here in the first chain space, so that's the easiest one, with a beginning treble. So that means in that stitch work a double and a chain 1, followed by a 2nd treble in the same space. We're now going to work 4 trebles in each of the next 3 chain spaces. So if you pull it open, you see there's a chain space. So 4 trebles in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was 1. I'm pulling it open again, and there you see the next space. So there's going to be 2, so I'm going to work 4 trebles in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull open again, there's a chain space and 4 trebles in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at last there's one more chain space left, in that chain space 2 trebles. 1 and 2. And again turn your work. This is what it looks like from the front for row 3. Row 3, you have the right side facing. I'm going to start by working over the first 2 stitches, a beginning treble 2 together. That means here in the first stitch, there, work a double and chain 1, and here in the second stitch work a treble. There we go. The repeat we're going to do 3 times. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over the next 4 stitches, so those are the 4 stitches that are worked into one here, work a treble 4 together. Here's the first one, so that's 1, come to the second leg, 2, come to the third, 3, 4, and take them all off. And this you're going to do 2 more times. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and then again a treble 4 together over the next 4 stitches, over those 4. So that's 1. This is 2, 3, 4, take them all off. One more time, last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, take them all off. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over these last 2 trebles, a treble 2 together. That means the first one here is in the first stitch, there, and that second leg is actually here on the chain because this was a beginning treble on the other from the other side. So I'm going to insert my hook there into the chain and then take them all off. And then you can, at this point you can also fasten off this color because the next round will be a grayscale. Row 4, important you still have the right side facing because you see here's my yarn tail, so I still have the right side facing. And we're going to attach one of the grays in the first stitch, and that's this 2 together stitch. In that first stitch, it's attached there with a slip stitch. And there we go. I'm going to start with the beginning treble in that stitch. So that's a double followed by a chain 1. Now in the next 3 chain spaces, going to work 8 trebles. So 8 in here, 8 in here, and 8 in here. Not in the last one. The last one gets only 7. So 8, 8, 8 trebles. And I'm just going to make a jump in the video for that. So these are 2 trebles. And this is 3. So I'm just going to make a jump in the video because I really think you can do this without me. So 8 trebles in here, then skipping this stitch, come to the next chain, 8 trebles, skip this stitch and come to this chain. And when you're here, when you've worked so 3 times 8 trebles, then I'll see you back. So I've done 8 trebles in those chain spaces, got 1 chain space left. this chain space gets only 7 trebles, so that's important, only 7. I'm going to work them a little faster maybe. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 trebles in that last chain space, and then here on this treble, so this again treble 2 together, I should say 1 treble on this stitch. 1. Oh, there we go. 1 treble on there. Just count your stitches. You should have 33, and then turn for the next row. Row 5, you have the wrong side facing, and this row we're going to work a double crochet on every stitch. So this row is relatively straightforward. So on the first stitch a double, that's 1, the second stitch is 2, and continue work 1 double on every stitch. Then you'll have 33, so again just take a moment to count your stitches. 1 double on every stitch. When you get to the other side and you have 33, then you can also fasten off. Row 6, you have the right side facing. We're going to join basically in the same stitches where we finished the last row. It's going to join there with a slip stitch. That's a double. There. I'm going to start with the beginning a double treble. So that means a double. There we go. And then chain 2. 1, 2. So beginning double treble. Chain 2. 1, 2. So those first 2 chains belong to the double treble, and then of course the chain 2 space you're now making. And in the same stitch, a 2 treble cluster. So yarn over. So in that same first stitch, 1, 2, and take them off. Now I'm going to do a small repeat that you'll be doing 7 times. I'll show you the first one and then you can do 6 more. The repeat starts with chain 1, then skip 3 stitches and work a 2 treble cluster. So 1, 2, 3 stitches skip, and then the next stitch, which is in essence the 4th stitch, work a 2 treble cluster. So 1 leg and the second leg, and take them all off. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now in the same stitch work another 2 treble cluster. So yarn over in that same stitch, 1, 2, and take them all off. So this was the entire repeat. I'm going to do this 6 more times. So now again chain 1, and then this treble cluster, chain 3 treble cluster in 1 stitch. You're going to do 6 more, and when you're here, when you've done that last one, that's when I'll see you back. So then you'll have 7 of these little groups. Done the repeat 7 times. This is what your work looks like. Now I have a few more stitches left. Chain 1, and then skip 3 stitches, and then on the very last stitch here, because you have 4 stitches left, so on that very last stitch, start again with a 2 treble cluster. Very last double there. 2 treble cluster. Chain 2, 1, 2, and in the same stitch a double treble. So yarn over twice in that same stitch, 1, 2 and 3. There we go. At this point again, rotate, turn your work for row 7. Row 7, you have the wrong side facing, and we're going to start in this chain space. We're going to start there with a beginning double treble. That means first a double crochet in this space, and then a chain 2 for the double treble. Now another chain 2, 1, 2, and in this same space a double treble cluster. So let's yarn over twice, 1, 2, let's stop, yarn over twice, 1, 2, and take them all off. Now we did this once, we're going to do this twice, so that means again chain 2, and in the same space I'm just going to move them all up, another double treble cluster, 2 of them. So 1, 2 double treble cluster, 2 legs, and then take them all off. So in this one space you have a double treble, chain 2, then a 2 double treble cluster, chain 2, 2 double treble cluster. Now we're going to do a small stretch that we do twice. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Going to skip the next chain space, that's this one here, and they're going to come here to the chain space that's in in between there, so in there. Work a double crochet in there. Then chain 2 and a double crochet in the next space, that's here. Chain 2, and in the next space we're going to do this 4 times. So this was 3 double crochet and chain 2, and this is 4 double crochet and chain 2. I believe this was 4 times. Let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, so I've got 4 doubles there. I've got one more chain space to go. Next one, a double crochet in there. Then chain 3 again, 2, 3. Going to skip the next space, it's this one, and then we're going to come here in between these 2 petals in that chain 3 space. And if you're just looking for a checkpoint, you should now be halfway the triangle. That's where you should be right now. Then in that space, a 2 double treble cluster, chain 2, 3 of those. So I'm going to yarn over twice. This is 1, 2 legs, take them all off, chain 2. So this was 1. Just need to get a bit more yarn. So we're going to do 3 of these double treble clusters. And this is number 2, chain 2, and again, and then this is the 3rd one, all in that same space. And take them off. So 1, 2, 3 times a 2 double treble cluster and chain 2s in between. Need to do another chain 2, and now to complete the corner I'm going to work one more double treble cluster in here, and I'm just going to move this all up twice over, 1 and 2. So, and that's the complete corner. We're now going to come down and do the same down here what we did going up. So that means chain 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to skip this chain space and come here to the next, work a double. It's 1 double, chain 2, another double. So 4 of these again, chain 2. This is number 3, chain 2. This is number 4 and chain 2. Now 1 more double, this last one here, so 1 more double in there. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to finish by skipping this chain space here, skipping that one. So you're going to do the same as you did on this side here. We're going for something symmetrical. So skipping that, coming to the chain space here, 2 double treble cluster, chain 2 twice. So yarn over 2 times in that chain space. 1, 2, take them off, chain 2. And this we need to do again, so yarn over twice, the double treble cluster, take them all off, chain 2. And this was that little repeat 2 times. And now we're going to finish off with a double treble in the last stitch. And that is of course this beginning stitch here. I'm just going to insert my stitch in that chain space there. There you go. So in the last stitch, work a double treble. And that's it. Turn, so turn, let me turn the other way, that's more logical, for the next row. So this is what your work looks like right now. You can see how you have the triangle here at the top with the 4 clusters, all the chains in between. On either side you've got 2 clusters and a double treble. Row 8, you have the right side facing. I'm going to start with a beginning double treble here in the chain space. So in that chain space, a double crochet and a chain 2 for the beginning treble. Then another chain 2, which is a chain space, and then in the same opening a 3 treble cluster. So that's yarn over. This is 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, and 3, and take them all off. So a 3 treble cluster. Now I'm going to move with little chain spaces and double crochets to the corner. So that's going to be chain 2, and then a double crochet in the next space, and this is 1. We're going to do this 8 times. So that was 1, so that means chain 2, this is double number 2, chain 2, the next chain space is number 3, chain 2, next space is number 4, chain 2, and then number, here comes number 5, chain 2, this is 6, chain 2, and this is double number 7, chain 2, and as you can see, number 8 falls just before the top. Chain 2 again, and then the next space here should be exactly in the middle. That's where we are now, and there we're going to work a corner. That's going to be a 3 double treble cluster. So this is 1, 2, 3 times, and then a treble cluster. I believe I just said a double treble, my apologies. A 3 treble cluster. Chain 3, and this is your new corner space. Again, a 3 treble cluster in the same space. That's 1, 2, 3. Take them off. And that space there, that's your corner. So if you want to, you could mark the corner if you want to, but at this point I think that is very obvious that that's your corner. Now we're going to come down and do exactly the same as we did coming up. So that means chain 2 and a double in the next space. And again we're going to do this 8 times. So that was 1, chain 2, 2, chain 2, this here is double number 3, chain 2, number 4, number 5, chain 2, this is 6, chain 2, so you're just walking along all those chain spaces. 7, chain 2, and this here is number 8, and then one more chain 2. Then you've done this entire edge. Now going to come to the very last chain space, and that one there. Then we need to work an end corner. That's a 3 treble cluster. So 1, 2, 3. Take them off. Chain 2 and a double treble. So yarn over twice in the same space, a double treble. 1, 2, 3. There you go. At this point you can cut your yarn, fasten off, and leave the right side facing for the next row. Row 9, I have one of the grey shades on my hook, and we're going to start in the first chain space. You still have the right side facing, so here's your yarn tail from just now. So you're going to go to the other side and attach your hook, your yarn there with a slip stitch. There we go. I'm going to start with a beginning double treble, so that means insert in that same space. That's a double, and then a chain 2. That's for the double treble. Then chain 1, which is just a space, and then in the same chain space work 3 trebles. So now it's just trebles, no clusters or anything. So 1, 2, 3 trebles. Going to work the straight edge. Now you've got all these chain 2 spaces. You're going to make 3 trebles in each of those. Those are 9 spaces. And then we're going to be at the corner. So in here, so I'll just show you one. Then you can do the rest without me. I'll see you back at the corner. So your next space, this one here, gets 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3. That was the first one. Now you're going to do this in all of these chain spaces. Work 3 trebles. Like I said, there were 9 in total. I've just done 1. Then I'll see you back here after you've worked your last set of 3 trebles, I'll see you for the corner. I've now done this edge. You see here all these groups of 3 trebles and all the chain spaces. Next here is the corner space. That gets 3 trebles, chain 2 and 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3 trebles in there, chain 2, and then 3 more trebles in the same space. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to come down and do exactly the same as you did coming up. So in every chain space, that again there are 9 of them, work 3 trebles. I'm sure you can do this without me, so work 9 times 3 trebles, and then I'll see you back just for the last corner. Almost to the end here. I've worked this entire edge, and this last chain space there gets 3 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 1, very important, remember that, chain 1, and then a double treble, so twice over, and a double treble, 2, 3. That's it. Turn for the next row. Row 10, you have the wrong side facing. It's going to start by in the first chain space, and they work 2 doubles. That's 1 and 2. So 2 doubles in that space. Now going to come along the edge and work a double crochet on every stitch. That's 33. So this is 1, and that will bring you to the corner. This is 2, 3, and I need 1 more. And there we go, 33 double crochets here along the edge. Next is the chain space. Here you're going to make a corner, 3 doubles in this space. That's 1, 2, and 3. And the second of those 3, that's your corner. You can mark it if you want. Now we're going to come down and do exactly the same. So a double crochet on every stitch till we get to the chain space here at the bottom. So there, we're going to do exactly the same. So here is again 1 double, and that's again 33. So that's 1 until you're to the end. 2, and I have 1 more here. Just before this chain space, there's another. And there we go, 33 double crochets. Next here is the chain 1, and then there's the double treble. Now we're going to come to the chain space and work 2 doubles in there. That's 1 and 2. There we go. That's it. That completes this triangle. Then in the next row we're going to join this triangle to our motif from part 3. Here's the triangle we just made. We just made this triangle. We're gonna join it to our work from part 3 over here. So we're gonna work an edge here. Then we're gonna join on this corner, join this entire edge, join the corner, and that's it. We're going to leave this last edge unworked. And where am I at? This is motif 1, right side facing. So when I'm going to zoom in, and the join that you're going to see is going to be this join over here. So now at least you know where I am, but also take a look at the schematic that goes with the pattern, that you can really see where all the triangles go and what their orientation are. But for now I'm just going to zoom back in. We're first going to work this first edge of the triangle to the corner. I'm going to start by just making a slip stitch into the stitch where we're currently in. So if you just open up your work is that double crochet there. So just work a slip stitch in there. There we go. Now to start this edge, we're going to work a double crochet in the stitch where we're currently in. So in that first stitch, double crochet. There we go. Then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip 2 stitches. 1, 2, and work a double. And this is your first loop. You're going to be doing a lot of these, and we've done these before. So chain 3. Skip 2 stitches and work a double. There we go. Now I've done 2 of them. Repeat this along the entire edge. Just chain 3, skip 2 stitches until you're here, and then I'll see you back for the corner. And this is also the corner that we're going to join to the blanket. Almost to the corner. Chain 3. And then skipping 2 stitches brings me to the corner. I've marked this stitch. Then we'll just work a double crochet in there. And remove the marker. And at this point we're going to join it to the blanket. So here's the blanket. There's that edge that I showed you. Then chain 1. Open up the loop. And then bring your blanket. Just rotate it a little bit. Corner stitch, insert your hook from front to back, pick up this working loop, pull that loop tight and pull through the corner, chain 2 and work a double crochet in the same stitch. Now you've joined up the corners. Now the edge, we're going to do this in the same way we've done before. So that means chain 1, open up the loop, come to the next chain space, pick up the loop, pull through, chain 2, skip 1, 2 stitches and work a double here on the triangle. Again, chain 1, come to the next space, pick up that loop again, pull through, 1, 2, chains, skip 1, 2 stitches and work a double. And this you repeat until you've done this entire edge. And once you've got the hang of this, this goes really fast. So now I've done this 3 times. See, I've done a few here. So continue along this entire edge, and then I'll just see you back here for the corner. I'm almost to the corner here. Got one more join to do. Chain 1. It's the last loop. Chain 2. Skip 2 stitches, and then the next stitch should be your last stitch here on the triangle. Last double crochet. There we go. Then chain 1, and now we're going to close this to our blanket. We're going to do it diagonally, so I'm going to insert my hook here through the corner space of the, I believe this is Motif 3. So this diagonal join, grab the yarn, pull through, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and work another double in that same position where you just worked the first. There we go. And at this point you can cut your yarn and fasten off, because like I said, this third edge here, we're going to leave that unworked. This is what your work looks like now. You've joined this triangle number 1 here. Now we're going to do triangle number 2, and we're going to join that. That will fill up this corner here. So this is your work right now. Now we're going on to triangle number 2. Motif 2, round 1. I have one of the grey shades on my hook, and we're going to start with a chain 3 to form a ring. This of course we've done before, and then close on the first chain. There you go. I'm just going to open this up, and let me just find the little hole. Where is it? And there it is. There it is. Now we're going to work 9 trebles in there. The first one is of course a beginning treble. That's a double crochet and a chain 1, and then we work 8 more trebles in the ring here to get 9 in total. So this is 1 of the 8. 2, continue until you have 9 in total. 3, and when you've completed all 9 trebles, this is what your work looks like. So a little bit of a half circle. Turn your work for row 2. Row 2, going to start by working 3 trebles in the first stitch. And the first stitch is of course a beginning treble, so it's a double and a chain 1, and then in the same stitch 2 more trebles. That's 1 and 2. The next stitch gets 1 treble, then chain 1, skip 1 stitch, it's this stitch, and come to the following and work a treble. The stitch after gets 5 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is 4, 5, and then the center one of those 5, that's your new corner. So I'm just going to hook a stitch marker in there. Here we go. In that third of those 5 stitches. That's your new corner stitch. Now we're going to come down, work a treble on the next stitch. Then a chain 1. Skip the next stitch, which is this one, skip that stitch. Now you have 2 stitches left. A treble on the second last stitch. And the very last stitch, this is the beginning stitch here, and this is a little hard to see, but there's still that beginning stitch. So on the top chain there, work 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3. This is your work at this point. Rotate for, or turn I should say, for row 3. Row 3. Going to start again with 3 trebles in the first stitch. I'm just going to open up my stitch there. First is then of course a double with the chain 1, and then 2 more trebles in the same stitch. 1 and 2. There we go. Going to work a treble on the next stitch. So this gets 1 treble. Then a chain 3, 2, 3. Skipping 2 stitches, which brings you to the chain space. a double crochet in the chain space. Chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, we skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then the next stitch it should be before the corner gets a treble. The next stitch should be your corner stitch. You're going to work 5 trebles in there. I'm just going to remove the marker because I know the next stitch is the corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again the third of those 5 stitches, that's the corner. I'm just going to pop the stitch marker back in there. Now we're going to come down and do the same as we did coming up. That means next stitch gets a treble. Treble, chain 3, 2, 3, skipping 2 stitches brings you to the chain space, which gets a double, chain 3, and again skipping 2 stitches, 1, 2, the next stitch gets a treble. There's again 1 stitch left here, your beginning stitch, and that beginning stitch gets 3 trebles. There on the chain. Okay, now I've just missed it. Need to work into the chain. There you go. So that's 1, 2, and the third one, 3 stitches. This is your work at this point. You can now cut your yarn, fasten off, and leave this side, which is the right side, facing. Row 4, I have a new color yarn on my hook, and attach your yarn in the beginning treble of row 3. So you still have the right side facing. Here's where we ended. There's your last stitch. Now so come back to your first stitch. So that's the chain of the beginning treble. Attach in there with a slip stitch. There we go. Now in this same stitch, I'm going to work a beginning treble. So that means insert in there to work double crochet and a chain 1, and then 2 more trebles, so we want 3 there in total. So 1 and 2, so you've got 3 trebles there in total. Now the small repeat to go up on this side, we're going to do the same repeat going down the other side. So start with a treble in the first stitch, which is this one here, and your next stitch. Chain 4, skipping, now we're going to skip 2 stitches, so that are these 2 stitches, and the chain space, then come to the double, that's here in the middle, work a popcorn on there. So that means on that double, I'm going to work 4 trebles. 1, 2, 3. I need a bit more yarn. And 4, so 4 trebles on the popcorn, then open up to close, finish off the popcorn. There we go. Again chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, skipping the chain space and 2 trebles, so this chain space and those 2 stitches, come to the last stitch before the corner, gets a treble. There you go. We're now going to do the same basically, so in this corner stitch, 5 trebles, so this is the same as the previous row, so I'm just going to remove the marker, so 5 trebles in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one is 5, and the third stitch is again your corner, so just pop that marker back in. Everything you've just done coming up, repeat coming down, so a treble, chain 4, popcorn, chain 4, treble, and skipping of course those stitches in between. Repeat this on this side, and I'll see you when you've worked that last treble. When you've completed the repeat, this is what your work looks like. You have 1 stitch left, and that last stitch gets 3 trebles. I'll just work those 3 with you. So that's 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Now turn your work for the next row. Row 5. We start in the same way. On the first stitch, a beginning treble. So in there, a beginning treble, and 2 more trebles. So again, 3 in that first stitch, and 2. There we go. 3 trebles. We are going to work a repeat up that you're going to work the same way down. So up on the edge of the triangle, the first stitch gets a treble, chain 1, skip the next stitch and come to the following. That's a stitch before the chain space, gets a treble. Chain space itself, 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, then skip the popcorn here in the middle and come to the next chain space and work 3 trebles in there. 1, 2, 3. Next stitch gets a treble. 1 treble, chain 1, skipping 1 stitch, and then the next stitch should be the stitch before the corner, and that stitch gets a treble again. Now you're at the corner, and this corner again gets 5 trebles. And the third stitch is again your new corner stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 trebles in that 1 stitch. And again, mark the corner stitch just to make life easy for yourself. There we go. Now what you've just worked on this edge up, repeat that coming down, and then I'll see you when you've worked your last stitch. When you've worked the repeat coming down, you have 1 stitch left here, that beginning treble. In that first stitch, I'm just going to turn my work 3 trebles in the first stitch. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Turn your work again for the next row. That will be the row, I don't know, row 6, and then you'll have the right side facing. Row 6, I'm going to start again with the beginning treble in the same stitch. A double and a chain 1, and then of course 2 more trebles in the same stitch. And 2. There we go. 3 trebles. Then again the repeat along the edge that you're also going to repeat coming down the other side. The first stitch gets a treble. So treble, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip 2 stitches, which will bring you to the chain space, a double crochet in the chain space. Chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, skipping 2 stitches, here 1, 2, skip, you've got 2 stitches left, work a treble on each of those. So 1, and 2. Next here is the chain space, 3 trebles in there, 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. 2 trebles, so 1 on each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet here in the chain space. Again, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skipping 2 stitches and then work a treble. 1, 2, and work a treble. And that is just before the corner. Next stitch is the corner. Won't surprise you, 5 trebles in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Mark your corner stitch again, the 3rd stitch. Now everything that you've just done up, repeat coming down, and then I'll see you back when you've done that repeat and you'll have 1 stitch left. This is what your work looks like when you've done the repeat again. So you have 1 stitch left, and that last stitch gets a 3 trebles, and this stitch is a beginning stitch. I just need to, there we go, find the chain. 1, 2, and 3 trebles. There we go. And at this point you can cut your yarn and fasten off. Row 7, the right side facing, so that means it's the same side as we had just now. So here's your yarn tail, come to the other side and attach in the beginning treble here, so on the chain, attach there, if I can just get my hook in there, with a slip stitch. And there we go. Start in the same way, so it's a beginning treble, so double crochet in a chain 1, and then in the same stitch, well, so this is slightly different, but as you start again with the beginning treble, then a chain 1 and 2 trebles in the same stitch. So there's just this chain 1 in between, that's slightly different. And 2. So it's a treble, chain 1 and 2 trebles in the stitch here to make the corner. For the straight edge, We're going to repeat something going up, and you're going to repeat that going down as well. So the repeat up is a treble on the next stitch. So 1 treble, then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and skip everything and come here to the double, and on there work a popcorn. And this is of course very similar to the row a few rows down, in which you also work the popcorn. And the popcorn is 4 trebles, 2, 3, 4. Open this up, come to the first stitch and pull through. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the chain space and 2 trebles, and then the stitch off. Well, you see here these 3 trebles here in the middle, a treble on each of those. One, so those are the 3 trebles that are worked into the chain space. 1, 2, and 3. So now we again work a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come to the double here to work a popcorn. So we're going to repeat what we just did a minute ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pull through. Chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Skip the chain space and 2 trebles, and then on the next stitch work a treble, and that should be the stitch before your marked corner stitch. For the corner itself, now this corner is slightly different to all the corners you've worked before. 2 trebles, chain 3, 2 trebles, 1, 2 trebles, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 trebles, 1 and 2, and that's your new corner there. Now everything you've just worked up here, repeat going down, so from the treble, then the popcorns and everything, and when you're here you'll have 1 stitch left. That's when I'll see you back, just for your last corner stitch. This is your work when you've done that repeat once more. 1 stitch left here. That stitch gets 2 trebles, chain 1 and 1 treble. That means 1, 2 trebles, chain 1 and another treble in the corner. There we go. Turn your work for row 8. Row 8, have the wrong side facing, and we're starting with a beginning treble in the first space. So if you look at your work, there's that chain space, so go in there with a double and chain 1. That's your first treble. Then we make another chain 1, so again a space, and now 2 trebles in the space. 1 and 2. That's your first corner. Then on the straight edge coming up, you're going to repeat that coming down again also. A treble on the first 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. In the chain space, 3 trebles. 1 and this Just 2, 3, spread them out a little bit, they fill the gap nicely. Chain 2, this is to skip the popcorn, to jump over the popcorn, and then come to the next space and work 3 trebles in there. 1, 2, 3. And repeat this on the next series of stitches. So again, 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. In the chain space, 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2. 1, 2. Skipping the popcorn, come to the next chain space for 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. You have 3 stitches left before the corner, a treble on each of those. 1, 2, 3. Next up is the corner, 2 trebles, chain 3, 2 trebles in the corner. 1, and there, 2 trebles, chain 2, and 1, 2 trebles. That's the new corner. Now everything you've just repeated going up, repeat this coming down again, and then I'll see you back when you've worked those last 3 trebles for the last corner stitch. I've just worked the entire edge, and I still have 1 chain space left and a treble, and in that chain space going to work your corner. It's going to be 2 trebles, 1, 2 trebles, chain 1, and another treble in the same space. There we go. When you've completed the corner, fasten off your work, so cut your yarn and fasten off and leave this side facing. Row 9, you still have the wrong side facing, so this is where we just fastened off. Then come back to the other side, and we're going to attach here in the first space with a slip stitch, and then we work 3 doubles in there. So if you look at your work, just pull it open a bit. You see there's that chain space. Attach there with a slip stitch. Then in the same space, 3 doubles. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now along the edge going up, I'm going to start by working a double on all of these stitches. So you're basically going to work a double on every stitch, and here in the chain space you work 3, then a double again on every stitch, 3 in the next chain space, and then 1 on every stitch till you get to the corner. It's going to be 8, 3, 9, 3, 8. That's your rhythm. But I'll just show you how to do these. So a double on every stitch, that's 8. So that's 1, 2, and 8. There we go. So 8 doubles. In the chain space work 3. 1, 2, 3 doubles. Then the next stretch of stitches, these are 9, so 9 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 9. 9 doubles. Next up is a space again, so 3 doubles in there. 1, 2, 3, and then on the next stitches up to the corner 8 doubles again. 1, 2, 8 double crochets. Next up is the corner space. This corner space gets 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the third one of those, that's the corner. I'm just going to quickly mark it so I can easily find it coming on the next round when we join this square to the blanket. We're now going to come down and repeat everything you just did coming up, repeat going down, and then I'll see you just for the corner again. Only the corner left. In this space, work 3 doubles. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And now we're going to join this triangle, join it to our blanket. I'll just show you how to position it and then to join. This is your work at this point. Here's the triangle we just made, and we're going to join it in our blanket here. So this is triangle 1 that we just made, so we're going to join it along this edge here and coming up along that edge there. So I'll show you how to join these joints at the corner and then coming back up. But in essence, this really is the same as we've done before. So let's join this triangle to our blanket. So here's the triangle we just made. Here's triangle 1, this is motif 1, this motif 3. Now we're going to just start by working the corner. So in where you're currently in, just going to indeed rotate. So you're turning your work because you have the right side facing. Oh, I just need my yarn organized. Then in this same stitch, work a double, chain 1, and now we're going to join the corner. So open up the loop and then come to motif 3 because we're going to do this as a diagonal join. And then here's the corner from motif 3, here's the corner from motif 1. Then insert your hook into motif 1, grab that loop and grab the entire loop, just split my yarn a bit and pull that underneath. Chain 2, 1, 2, and in the same stitch where you just made that first double, work another double, and that completes the corner. Then we're going to swap this triangle in the right direction, and now we're going to join this edge until we get to the other side. So that's again chain 1, insert into the next loop, pull through, chain 2, skip 1, 2 stitches on the triangle and then a double, and this you're going to do till you're to the corner. And I'll just show you the corner again. 1, 2, skip 2 stitches. There we go. So I've now done a few with you. Continue along this edge, and then I'll see you here just to join that corner and go up to the next edge. I'm almost to the corner. Here's a triangle, and here are my 3 squares. Just need to work one more join, so chain 1, work this last join along the edge of motif 3, chain 2, and then skipping 2 stitches. The next stitch should be in the marked corner stitch, and there, work a double. There we go. Just going to remove the marker, chain 1, and now we're going to join the triangle diagonally to, I believe this is motif 6, yes, motif 6. So that means insert your hook into the corner here of motif 6 underneath, grab your working loop and pull all of this underneath, chain 2, 1, 2, and in the same stitch where you work the first double of the corner, work the second. And there we go. Now you've joined this corner up. Just going to rotate my work a little bit, because we're now going to join this edge here, this edge, join this in the same way you did the first edge, so the pulling loop through, and then here at the end you're actually not going to join the corner, but I'll just see you at the end to show you the corner. But for now, just join this entire edge in the same way as before. Almost to the top here, I need to just join one more loop on the square. Just chain 1, pull through, chain 2, skipping 2 stitches, it brings you to the final stitch on this edge where you're going to work a corner. There we go. So that's a double in there. Now we're just going to work a corner, so you're not going to join it to the corner here on the other side. So just chain 3, 2, 3, and complete the corner with the double. The reason is we're going to join this corner with the next triangle, so we're going to work a triangle up here, and then we'll join this corner. You can cut your yarn and fasten off. This is your work at this point, triangle 1 and 2. And now we're going to do triangle number 3 here up top. We're going to work a triangle, and that's also when we'll join that corner. So let's get started on motif 3. Row 1 of motif 3. Just going to start with the chain 3 and form a ring, like we've done many times before. Open up the ring, just find it, there it is. Then we start with the beginning treble in the ring. It's a double crochet and a chain 1. Sorry, it's a double treble actually, so it's a chain 2. So a beginning double treble in the ring. Then chain 1, and now 2 trebles. 1 and 2. When it's also small, it's still so fiddly. Now a new corner, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I repeat the same but in reverse order. So that's 2 trebles, 1, 2, chain 1, and a double treble, so it's yarn over twice and complete the double treble. And this teeny tiny little triangle, that's round 1, turn for round 2. Round 2, I'm going to start here in the chain space with the beginning double treble. So that's a double and a chain 2, then chain 1 for a space, and 2 trebles in the same chain space. 1 and 2. That's your corner made. Chain 1, going to skip these 2 stitches and come here to the corner space and work 2 trebles, chain 3 and 2 trebles in there. So 1, 2 trebles, chain 3, which is your new corner, and 2 more trebles in the space. 1, there we go, chain 1, skipping these 2 stitches, come to the chain space there, and then we're going to work 2 trebles, chain 1 and a double treble in this space. That's 1, 2, chain 1, and I need a bit more yarn, and yarn over twice for the double treble. 2, 3. There we go. Turn your work for row 3. Row 3, I'm going to start here with, in the chain space, work 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3 doubles. Then on every stitch and chain space a double. That's also going to be 5, by the way. 1, 2 on the trebles, then 1 here in the chain space, and here on the next 2 trebles. 1 and 2. The chain space here at the top, going to work 5 doubles in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the third one here is your new corner, so I'm just going to mark that one. That's your new corner. Now come down and do the same on this edge, so that's a double on every stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the chain space here at the end, 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Completes row 3. Like this, it should be turn for row 4. Row 4, I'm going to start within the first stitch, so I'm just pulling that open, work a double in that stitch, then a double treble, so yarn over twice in the same stitch, a double treble, 2, I need to take off, there you go, 3 times, and in the same stitch again a double. So this is all a bit of a tight squeeze. And there we go. We're now going to work a double treble and a double alternatingly. So yarn over twice. In the next stitch work a double, treble, 2, 3, and then work a double. Now you've done this once, going to do this 4 times. So yarn over twice, treble, and then come to the next stitch and a double. Now I've done 2 times, do 2 more, and then I'll just quickly, then I'll see you back. You see you've got these bumps here on the front, so again a double treble double, double treble double, and then I'll see you back. Almost to the top. I've got 1 stitch left before the corner. This one gets a double treble because you've just completed previous stitch, which was a double, so a double treble. 3 times. Next stitch is the corner. I'm just going to remove the marker. Corner gets a double treble, and a double, so 3 stitches in one again. So 1 double crochet, yarn over twice, and in the same stitch, a double treble, and again a double in the same stitch. So now you get a nice little bubble there on the corner. Coming down, again alternating a double treble and a double, so yarn over twice, 1, 2, 3 times yarn over, and the next stitch a double. So now I've done this once again. Do 3 more times, so double, treble, double, double, treble, double, double, treble, double, and that's the point where I'll see you back. Just then the repeat 4 times. Got 2 stitches left. You see those 2 stitches. The next stitch gets a double treble because I've just finished on a double. So this one gets a double treble, and then the very last stitch here, you see there's 1 stitch left there, teeny tiny stitch, gets a double treble, and a double. So you need to work 3 stitches on there. It is all a little tight. At least my work is a little tight here. So it's double, then a double treble, and a double again in the same stitch, all 3 of them. And I need to find, there we go, a bit of room for the last stitch. There we go. I know this is all a little tight. Just make sure that you have at this point 13 of these bobbles, 1 right at the top and 6 on each edge, and then indeed turn for row 5. Row 5, this row you're going to work a double on every double and a chain 3 in between, right to the other side. So on this first double here where you're currently in, work a double, then chain 3, and come to your next double that's between 2 of the bobbles, and work a double. And this you're going to repeat till you're to the other side. So chain 3 and then a double between bobbles. Repeat this all the way around, and then indeed your last double will of course here fall on your last stitch. So chain 3 and a double between the bobbles. Row 6, going to work in all the chain spaces that we made in row 5. First one, in this first chain space work a double treble, that's a double and a chain 2, at your beginning double treble, then chain 1, and in the same space 2 more trebles, 1, 2, and then now we're going to work on the edge coming up, and then you're going to repeat that going down the other side. In the first chain space 2 trebles, 1 and 2. The next space also 2 trebles, 1, 2. The next space gets a treble, chain 1 and a treble. So a treble, chain 1, and then in the same space a treble. The next 2 spaces get 2 trebles. 1, 2, and then come to the next space and again 2 trebles. 1, 2. Next up here is right at the tip of the triangle. Here you're going to work a corner, 2 trebles, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 trebles in the same space. 1, 2, and then that's your new corner there. Coming down you're going to do the same as coming up, so 2 times 2 trebles, then in this space a treble, chain 1 treble, and then 2 times 2 trebles, and then I'll just see you back for the last corner. I've only got the last chain space left. This chain space gets 2 trebles, chain 1 and a double treble. 2 trebles, chain 1 and a double treble, so yarn over twice. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That completes this row. Turn for row 7. Row 7. In the first chain space, work 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. And now along the edge, you're going to work 15. That will bring you to the corner, where you also have one, of course, here in the chain space. So on every stitch, a double or space, and that's 15 in total. 3, 4, and this here is 15. So one on every stitch here along the edge. In the corner space, 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 doubles, and the third one of those 5 is the corner that I'm just going to mark. Now come down and work again a double crochet on every stitch, including the chain space, and that'll give you 15 in total. And then you have just a little corner at the end left. 15 doubles, and then there's only here the chain space left. That chain space, 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. And at this point you can cut your yarn and fasten off. Row 8, you have the wrong side facing, and we're going to attach one of the grey shades in the same stitches where we finished the previous row. Attach there. Then in this stitch comes a double treble, and a double. So again, a bit of a full stitch, so a double, yarn over twice for the double treble. 1, 2, 3, and then again a double. And that gives you a nice bobble on the other side. Going to come along the edge and work alternatingly a double treble and a double. So yarn over twice. The next stitch, work a double, treble, and then in the next stitch a double. And these 2 stitches, keep on alternating them until you're here at the corner. So a double treble double, double treble double, and then I'll see you back here. Almost to the corner, I have 1 stitch left. You've got all those little bobbles there. Then the next stitch, the stitch before the corner stitch, gets a double treble. The next stitch is the marked corner stitch. I'm just going to remove the marker to make it easier, because in this stitch, the next stitch is then a double treble, and a double. So 3 stitches in the corner. So it's a double, yarn over twice, a double treble, and then a double again. There we go. That gives you a bobble again there at the top. Now come down and repeat what you've done up here. So this means the next stitch is a double treble, followed by a double. So that was again once. I'm going to repeat that all the way down, and then I'll see you here at the end when you have a few stitches left. here towards the end. I have 2 stitches left. Worked all those little bubbles. The next stitch I've just finished on a double, so the next stitch will be a double treble. Now you have 1 stitch left. There's a little starting double there. That stitch needs to get 3 stitches, so I'm going to help it a little bit. So it's a double, then a double treble on the same stitch, and then again a double on that same stitch. And it's all rather full in there. Turn your work for the next row. Row 9, which I've already worked here, is a repetition of row 5. So work a double crochet on all the doubles and chain 3s in between from the beginning to end. Row 10. Going to start again in the chain space, in the first chain space with the beginning double treble. That's a double crochet and chain 2. Then chain 2 for a space, and now in the same spaces where you're currently in, work 3 trebles. That's 1, 2, and 3. In the next 5 of these chain spaces, going to work 3 trebles in each of those. Sorry, not 3, 2 trebles. 2 trebles. So this is 1 and 2. So 2 trebles in the first space. And then come here to the second. This is number 3. I'm going to do this 5 times. This is 4. Going maybe a little faster, but and this is 5. So 5 trebles, or 5 chain spaces, 2 trebles in each of those. Then chain 1, so just 1 little chain space, and now in the next 5 loops, again 2 trebles in each of those, and that will bring you to the corner. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the last one, 5. So 5 times 2 trebles. The next space here, right at the top of the triangle, is your corner. And then there you're going to work 3 trebles, chain 3, and 3 trebles to form a new corner. 2, 3 trebles, chain 3, and again 3 trebles. 1. Let's get my yarn a little bit knotted here. 1, 2, 3. So that's your corner. Now repeat everything what you did coming up, repeat this down. So on the next 5 chain spaces, 2 trebles, a chain 1, and then again 5 times 2 trebles. And then I'll just see you back for the last corner space. Just worked this edge of round 10. You have 1 space left. In that space work 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then a double treble. So yarn over twice in the same space, a double treble. And now turn your work for the next row. Row 11, I'm going to start in the same way as the previous row. So in the chain space, start with the beginning double treble. So it's a double and a chain 2, then chain 2 for the space, and 3 more trebles. 1, 2, and 3. So 3 trebles in this space. Along the first edge, you're going to work a chain 1, skip a stitch, and a treble, and you're going to repeat that basically till you're to the corner. So chain 1, skipping 1 stitch, and the first stitch you're skipping is this one here. You come to the second stitch and work a treble. Again, chain 1, skip a stitch, and work a treble. And this you're going to do 13 times. So chain 1, skip a stitch, work a treble, and that will bring you right here up to the corner. One of your trebles should fall here in the chain space that you have from the previous row, but for now I'm going to make a jump in the video. Work a chain 1, skip a stitch, and then a treble, then I'll see you back at the corner. Almost to the corner, so I've worked this entire edge here. 1 stitch left. I'm going to do a chain 1, then skipping this last stitch, that stitch, come to the corner, and the corner is 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then in the same space 3 more trebles. 1, 2, 3, and that's your corner. Now come down and repeat what you did coming up. So chain 1, skip a stitch and a treble, repeat that all the way until you're here, and then I'll see you for the last corner. At the last corner, so I just did that second edge, you have 1 stitch left and then the corner space. That's chain 1, skipping the last stitch, come to the space where you're going to work 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 2, and then a double treble. So yarn over twice. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Turn your work for the next row. Row 12, we're going to work 2 doubles in the first chain space, and then on every stitch or space along the edge 1 double. So in the first chain space here, 2 doubles, so 1, 2 doubles, and then 1 on every stitch, and the first few here are of course on the trebles. 2, 3, number 4 here is in the chain space, number 5 is again on the treble, and continue this a double on every stitch or space till you're to the corner, and then we'll do that. This is the last one. There you go. I've got 1 double on every stitch. Next up here is the corner right at the top of the triangle. 3 doubles in there. So 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to come down along the second edge and do the same. Work a double on every stitch till you're to the corner. 2, this is number 3, 4 is in this space, 5, and now I'm finished, got all the doubles, and then there's just the chain space here at the end of the triangle, 2 doubles in this last space, 1 and 2. That completes this triangle. If I just turn it the other way around, you can actually see it. I'll just show you where to join it, and then we'll join this to our blanket. So here's your work at the moment. Triangle 1 and 2, and then here triangle 3 we're going to connect on our blanket like that. We're going to work this edge and then also come up, but this will just be an edge of just loops, and we're actually going to join this corner. Remember you had this corner still unworked, unjoined from triangle 2. We're also going to catch that corner. So I'm going to zoom in on this point here and also just rotate the blanket a bit, because then that's easier for me, and then we'll take it from there. So to work this join in this corner, just going to start with the first step of the corner, and that is to work in the first stitch a double, a chain 1, and now we're going to join this to the corner. So I'm just going to open up the working loop, just hold on to that, and now look at your work. I'm just going to just rotate this blanket because it is large, and I actually do have it the wrong way around. Here, this is better. Here is the corner of the triangle of the square, and there's the corner of the triangle. First insert your hook from front to back through the corner of the square. Now insert your hook from front to back through the corner of the triangle. And now you're going to pull the loop of the triangle through the loop of the square. So you're literally going to do this. Now insert your working loop of the triangle that we're making, triangle 3, on your hook. And I'm just going to pull that loop tight. And I've got my yarn, my work slightly twisted. There we go, now it's right side up. And I pull this working loop through that loop, which is now actually the loop of the triangle. So pull that through there. And now you've joined the triangle to your work. Come back to the stitch where we started the corner. So here in that same stitch, chain 2, I forgot. Chain 2, and now come back to this first stitch and work a double. Then that completes this corner. Now we're going to work an edge here the same way we've done before. So that means chain 1, open up the loop, insert your hook through the next chain space, bring up your working loop back, pull through chain 2, skip 1, 2 stitches on the triangle, and then work a double. So that was the first join. And this you're going to continue until you've joined this entire edge, and then I'll show you the corners once again. 1, 2, skip 1, 2 stitches, and another double. This you've done before, so continue this along this edge here, and then I'll see you back here. But then we're going to join this diagonally, but I'm going to show you that join also. But for now, work the join. Just at the corner, I've got one more join to do. So chain 1, this last join, pull through, chain 2. Skip 1, 2 stitches, and then the next stitch here on the triangle is my corner stitch. And there, work a double in there. Now I'm going to join it diagonally to motif, I believe this is motif 7. So chain 1, open up that loop, then come through the corner space here. So of the join on the other side. Pick up that loop again, chain 2, and come back to the corner and work a double. There we go. And now if I just rotate my work here along this edge, I'm going to only work chain loops. So chain 3, skip 2 stitches, work a double, chain 3, skip 2 stitches, work a double, until you're to the corner where you'll work the same corner as before. But I'll just get you started. So that's chain 3, skip 1, 2 stitches, and then work a double. And repeat this until you're to the corner. I'm at the end of the triangle. You see here's the join we just made and all those loops. Then chain 3, 2, 3, skipping 2 stitches, that will bring you, so 1, 2, that will bring you to the corner. That's your final stitch there. Work a double in that stitch, chain 3, and another double. There we go. And that's it. You can cut your yarn and fasten off. Triangles 4 and 5 you already see worked here. This triangle and this one. These are repetitions of what we've done before. So the motifs that you've worked before, so 1, 2 and 3, they are being repeated here. So you can just check the schematic exactly which color you need, which gray you need, and for the corners, you know, which corner goes where. But as such, this is a repetition, so motifs 4 and 5 is a repetition of what we've done before. I'm now going to move on to motif, so triangles number 6, which goes here. If I just open this up, which goes here, and this is a new motif. Motif 6, row 1. Going to start with a chain ring, 3, and then close on the first to make a slip stitch, or with a slip stitch to make a ring, and then in the ring a beginning treble, so that's a double and a chain 1, and now in the same little space 7 more trebles, so you're going to have 8 in total. This is always very small and fiddly. So the first one going to work 8 in total. 2, so with the beginning one you only work 7, of course. 3, and when you've worked the last treble you've got 8 in total. Turn your work for the next row. Row 2, we're going to start with a beginning double treble. So in the first stitch work a double and a chain 2. That's your beginning double treble. Then a chain 1, and now we're going to work small repeats that you're going to do 6 times. In every stitch you're going to work a 3 double treble cluster and chain 3s in between. So that means yarn over twice, come to the next stitch, take off 2 loops, take off 2 loops. That was the first leg one. We're going to work a 3 double treble cluster. So we need 3 legs, 2, twice yarn over, and this is 3, 4 loops on your hook, take them all off in one go. And now a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now this you're going to repeat on all of these stitches. You're going to have 6 of these 3 treble clusters. So the next stitch again gets a 3 treble cluster. 1, 2, there you go, 3, and take them all off. And now a chain 3 again. And you're going to do this until you have 6 of these clusters, because you now have 2, so you need to work 4 more, and that's the point where I'll see you back, when you've got 6 of those clusters with chain 3s in between. This is the point where I am now. I have 6 of these cluster stitches and there is 1 stitch left. So after this last cluster stitch, a chain 1, and then your last stitch, that's the beginning stitch here, that gets a double treble. So yarn over twice, and in the chain space, or the chain, just work the double treble. There we go. At this point you can cut your yarn, fasten off, and leave this side facing. You have the same side facing. You see here's your yarn tail. We're going to start on the other side. And then attach yarn in the first stitch. So this is the chain here of the double treble. Insert or attach with a slip stitch. Now in that stitch we're going to work a beginning treble. So that means here in the same space, stitch a double crochet with a chain 1. That's your first stitch. In the chain space, so that chain space there, 2 trebles. 1 and 2. Now in each of the next 5 chain spaces, going to work the same thing. So there's going to be a chain 1, 2 trebles in this space, so 1, 2, chain 1, and then again 2 trebles in this same space, 1 and 2. And that you're going to repeat in all of these 5 spaces. So that means the next one is again a chain 1, then come to the next space, and then here this is the first of these trebles. So repeat this all the way to the other side. There I'll see you back. So in every chain space this treble, chain 1, treble, and then there are the chain 1s of course between all of these groups. So repeat this and then I'll see you back. So I've worked all the trebles in the chain spaces. I've just finished here with these 2 trebles, then chain 1, come to the next space, this space here, 2 trebles in there, 1, 2 trebles. You have 1 stitch left. This is the double treble here, 1 treble in there. There we go. At this point you can cut your yarn, fasten off, and leave this side facing. Row 4, I'm going to use the same color and you still have the same side facing. So here's the yarn tail we just finished off. Then come to the other side and attach with a slip stitch in the first stitch, and this is the chain here of the treble, with a slip stitch. Then in the same stitch work a double. Now you're going to repeat the same thing all the way to the end. That is a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then come to your next chain space and work a double in this space. And this you're going to repeat, so a chain 3 and a double in the space. Repeat this all the way around, and then I'll just see you here just for the last few stitches, but in essence it's a chain 3 and a double crochet in every chain space, and I'll just see you back there. Just worked all those chain spaces, currently here in the last chain space, then a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then come to the last stitch. So you've got these 3 trebles, come to the last treble and work a double in there. Turn your work for the next row. Row 5. In the stitch where you're currently in, work a beginning treble. So that's just a double crochet here in the first stitch, followed by a chain 1. That's your first treble. You're now going to repeat the same thing all the way to the other side. So that's a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then in the chain space, in this case this chain space, your first one, a double, and then again a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and a double in the next, and repeat this all the way to the other side. And when you're here at the last chain space, that's when I'll see you back. Currently with the double crochet in that last chain space, see where I am. Now, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then here on the last stitch, that's the double crochet there, work a treble. There we go. Turn your work for the next row. Row 6. In the stitch where you're currently in, you're going to work a beginning double treble. So in that first stitch, work a double and a chain 2. So beginning double treble. Chain 2, so this is for a space. And I'll come here to this first chain space and work a popcorn in there. That means 4 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles. Open this up, come back to the first stitch and close the popcorn. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and come to the next chain space and work a double. I'm going to do that 5 times. So that was once, 1, 2, 3 chain, and a double, that is 2, 1, 2, 3 chain. This is double number 3, 1, 2, 3, double number 4, 1, 2, 3, and this is double number 5. Now you should be roughly you should actually be halfway. Your next chain space should be here in the middle of your triangle, and in there we're going to work a corner. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then in the next chain space, going to work a popcorn, chain 3, and a popcorn, and then that makes your new corner. 2, 3, 4 trebles to make the popcorn. Now of course we've made many of these before. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then work another popcorn right next to it in the same space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Open this up and close. There we go. That's your new corner. Now we're going to come down and do the same we did coming up here. So that means chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and work a double in the next space, and we're going to do that 5 times again. So 1, 1, 2, 3, this is 2, 1, 2, 3, this is 3, and 1, 2, 3 chains, and this is 4, and then 1, 2, 3 chains, and this is 5. And now you're at your last chain space, chain 3 again, and then here in the last chain space a popcorn. So this is of course to mirror the popcorn that we did on the other side. 2, 3, 4, close the popcorn, there we go, chain 2, 1, 2, and then come here to the first stitch. So in that first stitch with a double treble, so yarn over twice, I'm going to insert into the chain space there of the stitch and work a double treble. That's it. That was this row. At this point you can fasten off your yarn and at the same time leave this side, so the right side, facing. Row 7, still have the right side facing, so here's where we just fastened off, so then come back to the other side and join with a slip stitch in the first chain space. That's here just before the popcorn, that chain space, attach there. In this space work 3 doubles, 1, 2, and 3. In the next 3 spaces work 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3. The next space work 3 doubles, and the last space also work 2, 3. So 3 times 3 doubles in the chain spaces. The next double crochet gets a double. Now you have 3 more chain spaces left before the corner, and work 3 doubles in all of those, in all 3 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here the last space, 1, 2, and 3. Next up here at the top is your corner space. This corner gets 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the center one of these 5, that's your new corner. So if you want to, you can mark that with a stitch marker, which we just pop in there. Now we're going to come down and along this edge do exactly the same that you did coming up. So in the first 3 spaces work 3 doubles in each, then 1 double crochet on the 1 stitch there, and then a double crochet in all of the chain spaces right to the end. So you're going to finish with those 3 and then come after the popcorn, and in this last chain space also work 3 doubles. And at that point you can turn for the next row. Row 8, we have the wrong side facing. We're going to start in the first stitch with a beginning double treble. That's a double crochet and a chain 2. Then a chain 1, this is for a space, and in the same stitch 3 more trebles. So 1 and 2 and 3 trebles. We're going to repeat just a few stitches, that is skipping 2 stitches and then work 3 trebles in one. So skip 1, 2 stitches and then come to the 3rd stitch and work 3 trebles in there. So 1, 2 and 3. And this you're going to repeat all the way to the corner. So that means skipping 2 stitches and then work 3 trebles. So 1, 2, skip, and then work 3 trebles in the next stitch. Now that is the first of 3. So repeat this until you're here, and then I'll just see you for the corner. Almost to the corner, so I've worked all those groups of trebles. If you skip 2 stitches, the next stitch is the marked corner stitch. I'm just going to remove the marker. So 1, 2, skip, and then in this marked corner stitch work 3 trebles, chain, if I recall, chain 2 or chain 3, chain 2, so 3 trebles, chain 2, and then 3 more trebles again. So, and then that is your corner completed. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now come down and repeat everything what you did coming up, repeat that going down. So skip 2 stitches and then work 3 trebles in the 3rd stitch, and I'll continue like that, and then I'll see you here at the end just for your corner. I just have the last stitch left, so I've worked this entire edge. Then here at the last stitch, so skipping 2 stitches, that brings you to the first stitch here of the edge, this double, work 3 trebles in there, so 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 1, and then in the same stitch a double treble. So I'm going to yarn over twice. 1, 2, 3. That completes this row. Turn for row 9. Row 9, I'm going to start with a beginning double treble here in the chain space. So that means a double and a chain 2 to make the first stitch. Then a chain 1 for a space and 3 trebles in the same space. So 1, 2, 3. In the next 4 spaces that are like here between these trebles, going to work 3 trebles. This is 1, 2, 3. So that was the first one. You need to do 3 more. So 3 trebles in these next 3 spaces, then I'll see you back. And I have these 4 times 3 trebles. Then chain 1. You're making this chain 1 to get your stitch count correct in the next row. And now again in the next 3 spaces right up to the corner, work 3 trebles in each. So all of these, actually there are 4 spaces. So here's the first one. So 1, 2, 3 trebles. So work 3 more and then I'll see you for the corner. When you've worked those trebles, you're at the corner. The corner gets 3 trebles chain 3 and 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 3, 2, 3, and 3 more trebles. So 1, 2, and 3. Now repeat coming down the same that you did coming up. Remember that chain 1 halfway through, then I'll see you at the end for the corner. When you've done all the treble groups, the chain 1 in the middle, you're here at the end. The last chain space gets 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then finish with a double treble in this space. 1, 2, 3. That completes this row. Turn for row 10. Row 10, you have the wrong side facing. Going to work here in the first space 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3 doubles. Then on every stitch, and also in that chain space here in the middle, on every stitch up to the corner, work 1 double on every stitch. And then we're ready to make the corner at the top. So a double crochet on every stitch, including that space halfway through. Last one. And there we go. All 31 doubles. The chain space here at the top for the corner, 5 double crochets in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then space number 3, that's your new corner, so you can mark that if you want. Might make life easier for you when joining the triangle to your work. Now come down and again work 1 double on every stitch until you're here to the corner. So I'm going to do exactly the same. So a double on every stitch. The last one. There you go. So a stitch on every stitch. Last here is the corner space. 3 doubles in there. 1, 2, and 3. Turn and join to your blanket. Row 11, which is the joining of the triangle to the blanket, is exactly the same as we've done before, I believe for triangle 2, so one of these triangles going back. So you're going to do the same way. You're going to join this one diagonal here, join this border, join this one diagonal, join this border, and then here leave the top triangle or the top corner of the triangle unworked, because you're going to catch that one with the triangle that's going to come afterwards here on top. So again, join exactly the same way as you've done before, and do use the schematic for which corners are joined, which corners are diagonal, just adjacent, or this pull through corner system that we also have on some corners. So join the same way as before. At this point you've made 6 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's number 6. You need to do 14 more because there are 20 triangles in total, and these triangles, I'll just show you one edge. These triangles are all a repetition of what you've already done. So you see, for example, here some of the triangles are to the bottom. This is triangle 19 and 20, and here at the top you have 9 and 10. But I encourage you to use the schematic for which triangle goes where, and all the joins are exactly the same as what you've done before. So spend some time working all these triangles and work all the way away all your yarn tails, and then I'd just like to show you the last two parts. So how to the stitches that we're going to work around this panel, and how to join this panel to the one from part 1 and 2. We're now going to join this panel to the panels we made in part 1 and 2. And we're going to start here right at the top. I've got a stitch marker here in the top corner of triangle 10. So we're going to start on that edge, this corner, and then work this edge down, and then work this edge up to the next point. So then we're going to work all the way up to, where is it? Yes, here it is. Sometimes it doesn't look right, but right up to this point, and then come down all the way along to this point here. So we're going to work these zigzags. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start here on the tip of triangle 10. So here I'm going to zoom in and then take it from there. So here's the corner this is the corner of triangle 10, and in that corner stitch I'm going to attach my yarn with a slip stitch. There we go. Just going to remove the marker. Then in this corner stitch work 2 doubles. So 1 and 2. You're now going to come along this edge, so this entire edge here of the triangle, until you get to the corner. Work 48 doubles. And there is, again, you've done this before, no right and wrong. Just evenly distribute 48 doubles until you're to the other side of this triangle, and just work them wherever you feel that it makes sense to put one. And just to help you a little bit, when you're halfway the triangle, you should have done about 24 of them. So 24 on this side of the triangle, and then 24 on the other side. And then I'll see you back here where this triangle meets up with the square, this join. That's where I'll see you back. So 48 doubles. I've worked these 48 doubles, and now here is the join of the two squares and the 2 triangles. So this is triangle 9, that's triangle 10. In the chain space here of triangle 10, this corner space, work a double in that space. Now work a double 2 together in this corner space here, and the corner space of triangle 9. Grab them together. And now work another double in the same space on triangle 9. So this is just going around the corner of between triangles 9 and 10, these two. Now you're going to come up along the edge of triangle 9 and 8 right up to the tip. So this is a very long edge right up to this tip. Going to work 99 doubles, and you're going to finish here. Then I'll show you these stitches at the top. So along this entire edge, this is a very long edge, and I encourage you to take the schematic so you can see exactly which ones they are, because it's hard to get in front of the camera. But along this entire edge until you get to the top of the next set of triangles, 99 doubles along this edge. I'm right at the top of the triangle here, triangles 7 and 8. So I've worked 99 doubles along that entire edge. Then right here at the top, kind of where these two triangles meet here, work 3 doubles in there. I'm just going to place one on this side. I'm going to try to get one here in the middle. Oh, it doesn't work. So then one on the other side, and the second one on that side also. So 3 doubles kind of like on the top there. And now we're going to come down and do everything that we've just done again. So I'm just going to zoom out and just talk you through that. So you're currently there at the top of that triangle. You're now going to come down and along this edge work 99 doubles. That will bring you to this valley. In this valley you're going to do exactly the same as you did here. Where can I find it? Just come back here, where you work the double, double do together and the double over those two triangles. Going to do exactly the same here in this valley. Then again, so double, double two together, double here along the edge, and then again 99 doubles coming right up to the next top, this peak here. Work 3 doubles on the top, just like you did for the top there. Then come down again, 99 doubles, until you're here to the valley here, where you do again exactly the same, so a double, double two together on both triangles, and then a double in the second triangle, and then come up along this edge, and then it's 48 doubles. So exactly the same as the very first triangle. So 48 doubles right up to the very tip corner, and then in that very last tip, so in this absolute little corner there right at the beginning, you work 2 doubles right in the corner. And that's it. All of this is just a repetition of those first 2 edges. So on every long edge going up or down, it's 99 doubles. In a valley, it's a double, double two together, double, and in a peak right here at the top, it's 3 doubles. And at the end, when you're at this first corner, it's 2 doubles. Repeat this, and then we're ready to join this panel to the other one. When you've completed all those double crochets along your work, you've got this entire edge of double crochets, and right at the end here, you've worked these last 48, and then here right at the beginning, let me just zoom in that you can really see that. Here right at the edge, you've got those 2 last doubles that you just work in the edge there on the side. Then you've got all your double crochets done. And what we're going to do now is, I'll just zoom out again, is we're going to join this panel we just made. So that's what you see here, 2 panel that we made in part 1 and 2, that one. And so you've cut your yarn at the end of this first row, and now we're going to come here. I'm going to zoom in here, so go back to the beginning of the row, and here we're going to join this edge, so this edge, and then this one. And you can see how this peak and this valley, how they line up, and that's also exactly what you want with the joints. But I'm going to zoom in here and then just get you started on the process. So I've got yarn on my hook, and we're going to join this in the corner stitch here, so in this very first stitch there. So this is on the panel part 2 and 3, sorry, 3 and 4, so the second panel with a slip stitch. There we go. Then in this same stitch, work a double and a chain 1. Now we're going to do the join same way as before. Here's the panel, and there's that corner that I showed you just before when we were zoomed out. Insert your hook through that corner space, so that corner loop there, from top to bottom, front to back. And pick up your working loop, draw that tight, and then pull through this your working yarn through that loop. Chain 2, 1, 2, and in the same stitch where you made the first double, make another one. And there we go. Now we're going to work the edges, and we're going to do this basically till we're to the other side of the blanket. Chain 1, open up the loop, then come to the next loop here on your edge. just find it. There it is. That's the next one there. Insert your hook front to back and pick up here, pull through, chain 2. Then here on the panel, on the second panel, skip 1, 2 stitches, and then in the third stitch work a double. And this, so chain 1, open up, come to your next space, pick up that loop, whoop, pull through, chain 2, skip 1, 2 stitches and work a double. This you're going to repeat till you're all the way to the other side. So it's quite a long join that you're going to make, and then you'll notice that your valleys and your peaks of the zigzag, where is it here, that they line up. So your corner stitch here lines up to your corner stitch there. So go and make all of these zigzags, all of them, and then I'll actually just see you for the last stitch of the corner on the other side. Almost to the end of this entire joint. It's a very long one. Chain 1, got one more loop here to join, chain 2, then skipping, just check 1, 2 stitches, that brings you to the last stitch here on the edge. A double crochet in there, chain 1, and now close to the corner loop, pick up your working loop, pull through, chain 2, and then a double crochet in the same stitches where you just finished. At this point you can cut your yarn and fasten off and work away any yarn tails you might have, and then we've got one more edge to do. Now join the two panels. Now what we still need to do is along the bottom edge of the panel, so actually of your entire blanket at this point, so the edge of panel 2, we're going to work another round of double crochets and then a row of loops, so chain 3 loops. So now the blanket is oriented the other way. And you see here's the stitch marker from triangle 11, so when you work that triangle you place the marker there. This triangle, so this is triangle 11 and this is the corner stitch of triangle 11. So you're going to start there, and then you're basically going to repeat everything you did on the first row of this panel on the other side. So that means all the double crochets along the edge, the 48, 3 at the top, 99 down, then the double 2 together and another one at the valley, and then again 99 up. So I'm not going to show you this on the video because this is really exactly the same as the previous row. The only important thing is where to start, and like I said, this is the corner stitch here of triangle 11 there in that corner. That's where you start, and then you go up and down, and you end at the corner on the other side of triangle number 20. So at this point repeat row 1 that you also did on the other side, but it is written in the pattern, so work all your doubles and then we work a row of chain space loops. And here you see those edges all worked, all those double crochets along the edge. Like I said, it's exactly the same as the previous row on the other side, but only you've got the valleys and the peaks reversed, but the idea is exactly the same. So when you have all these double crochets, so on every long side it's 99, the 3 here, so double 2 together, double, and then the 3 on the peaks. When you have all of that done, you have one more row to do. So row 2, this is exactly the same as actually the bottom row we worked on panel 1 at the end of part 2, but I'm going to show you this quickly. So in the first stitch, join with a slip stitch, so in that very first stitch. Then in this stitch going to work a double, chain 3, so this forms a corner, and then another double in the same stitch. So in that first stitch goes double, chain 3 and a double. And now we're going to work all those loops again. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 2 stitches, and then work a double. And this chain space loop, going to repeat this until you're to the other side. So chain 3, skip 2 stitches, and work a double. And I've done 2 of these. You're going to do, I think, 160 something more, and that will bring you to the other side. And then you work the last stitch, you again work a corner just like you worked here. So in the very last stitch, I'll just quickly pretend that this here is the last stitch. You're going to work a double, chain 3, and then in that same stitch work a double again. And this you're going to this will be your last stitch, and then you can fasten off your work. And that's it. Brings us to the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.